Some dreams feel within reach, but for Zara, this is a dream that has come true. Get comfortable, grab your popcorn, and join her as she takes you through her incredible journey to Korea. Zara, a young teenage Nigerian girl, had always dreamed of studying in Korea and visiting the country because of her love for its culture, language, and food. Her room was adorned with K-pop star posters, and she often watched K-dramas and listened to K-pop with great excitement. One day, Zara received an opportunity to study in Korea as an exchange student due to her academic brilliance in Nigeria. Her parents were proud and supportive, and a few days after receiving her acceptance letter, her mother accompanied her to the airport. In Korea, Zara stayed with the host family, Mr. and Mrs. Kang, who had a son named June. June was the class captain and one of the brightest students in his grade. He was also close friends with another boy, Ren, as their parents had been friends before Ren's father passed away. While June and Zara were in different classes, they sometimes walked home together after school. When Zara started school in Korea, she met a popular yet reserved classmate named Ren. He was her seatmate and was known for his handsome appearance, which attracted the attention of both girls and boys. However, Ren was distant and rarely spoke to others, making him seem unapproachable. To make matters more complicated, Ren had previously dated Yuna, a bully who led a group of mean girls in the class. Yuna, along with her two best friends, often picked on others. On Zara's first day in class, Ren's cold demeanor made it hard for her to connect with him, even though they sat next to each other. Zara tried her best to strike up conversations, but Ren barely responded. He often rested his head on the desk, and Zara had to knock on the table just to get him to move when she needed to pass by. Despite these challenges, Zara remained optimistic and embraced her time in Korea. She explored Seoul, tried various Korean dishes, and visited landmarks like the Han River, where she took pictures and enjoyed the scenery. Even though she hadn't made any friends yet, she cherished her dream of studying in Korea and was determined to make the most of it. One day, Zara and Ren were paired together for a group project by their teacher. Initially, Ren barely contributed, leaving Zara to shoulder most of the work. However, Zara was determined to succeed and took the lead. Over time, this project became a turning point in their relationship. During their discussions, Ren began to open up to Zara. He revealed that he was struggling with personal issues, including the immense pressure from his mother to be perfect and live up to high expectations after the loss of his father, whom he deeply loved. As they worked on the project together, Zara and Ren grew closer. Zara started spending time with Ren, and this didn't go unnoticed by Yuna. Still jealous and bitter over her failed relationship with Ren, Yuna began targeting Zara with threats and bullying. One day, Yuna cornered Zara and called her names, mocking her for thinking Ren might be interested in her. To Zara's shock and frustration, Ren walked past the scene without intervening. Though Ren remained cold to Zara in class, he acted kind and caring whenever he visited her at home. This confused Zara and left her feeling hurt. Why didn't Ren stand up for her when she was being bullied? Why did he seem distant in class, yet warm outside school? These unanswered questions troubled Zara, making her question Ren's true feelings and intentions. The next day at school, Zara couldn't hold in her frustration any longer. She dragged Ren to the hallway and confronted him. "How could you not defend me when you saw Yuna bullying me?" she demanded. Ren replied coldly, "It's not my problem. You don't know Yuna. She's not just some girl." Zara was furious. "So you'd rather let her bully me than stand up for what's right?" she asked, then stormed off, leaving him behind. A few days later, their class teacher announced an upcoming field trip to the beach. The class was thrilled, but Zara felt uneasy. She didn't look forward to spending an entire day around the bullies or the friend she felt had abandoned her. On the day of the trip, everyone boarded the school bus. Ren sat at the back, surrounded by a group of girls who were flirting with him, while Zara chose a seat at the front, distancing herself from her classmates. Just as the bus was about to leave, a girl with brightly colored hair approached Zara. "Hi, can I sit here?" the girl asked with a friendly smile. Zara's face lit up. "Sure, why not?" she replied, her heart racing with joy. The girl introduced herself as Grace, and they quickly struck up a lively conversation. They laughed, shared stories, and listened to music together throughout the trip. At the beach, they stuck together, opening up to one another. Grace revealed her fascination with Africa and asked Zara all about Nigeria, its food, culture, and traditions. Zara was delighted to share, and Grace said she'd love to visit Nigeria someday. On the ride back, Grace and Zara shared an earpiece, listening to music and chatting. But their moment was interrupted when Ren approached them. "Grace, can I switch seats with you?" he asked. Grace hesitated but eventually agreed. Now sitting beside Ren, Zara fell silent for a while. Neither of them spoke. "Why are you so quiet?" Ren asked after a few moments. Zara ignored him, pretending not to hear. Ren leaned closer and pulled her earphone away. "I'm talking to you, Zara. What do you want me to say?" she snapped. "Why are you so confusing sometimes? You're cold, and other times you're caring. Just why?" Zara demanded, frustration evident in her tone. Ren leaned back with a smirk. "I've been busy." "Busy with what?" Zara retorted. Before she could finish, Ren interrupted. "Are you jealous?" Zara froze, unsure how to respond. Before she could say anything, Ren put his headphones on and leaned back, pretending to sleep. Zara glanced at him occasionally during the ride, convinced he was only pretending. The trip back felt like the longest ride ever. The next day, Yuna cornered Zara in the hallway, furious over seeing her and Ren together on the bus. She bullied Zara again. Ren walked by, visibly angry at Yuna's behavior, but he still didn't step in to stop her. Zara noticed him walking away, their eyes meeting briefly, which only deepened her frustration. That evening, Zara went straight to her room, avoiding everyone, especially Ren, who often visited his friend June. Hours later, she heard a knock on her door. She opened it to find Ren standing there. "What do you want?" she asked curtly. Ren gently pushed the door open and stepped inside. "I'm sorry," he said. "I should have defended you. I promise I'll stand up for you from now on. If Yuna or her friends bother you again, me know. I'll take care of it." Without waiting for a reply, he left. That night, Zara replayed his words in her head. Does he really mean it? What changed his mind? She wondered. "I thought Yuna wasn't just some girl." The next day, during gym class, Zara, Grace, and a few other students were watching a handball match on the school field. Ren was playing, his athleticism and skill drawing everyone's attention. Zara couldn't take her eyes off him, admiring the way he moved with ease and confidence. Grace nudged her playfully. "You've been staring at him since we got here," she teased. Zara blushed, trying to hide her embarrassment. "I wasn't staring," she protested, though her eyes betrayed her. Grace chuckled. "Sure, keep telling yourself that. I'm not. I'm just watching the match," Zara insisted. Grace smirked knowingly. "Sure, if you say so," she teased with a playful smile. Meanwhile, Yuna noticed Zara staring at Ren and glared at her. Seizing the moment, Yuna tried to throw a ball at Zara, but before it could hit her, Ren appeared and caught it just in time. Standing beside Zara, he asked, "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," she replied softly. Ren then turned to Yuna. "If you pick on her again, you'll only embarrass yourself," he warned. Yuna stormed off the court, fuming with anger, while Ren turned back to Zara. "Wait for me after the game. I'll walk you home," he said before jogging back to rejoin the match. Later, as Ren walked her home, Zara couldn't help but steal glances at him. She was still surprised by his actions earlier. "He's such a sweet boy," she thought to herself. 2 days later, it was the weekend. Mr. and Mrs. Kang invited Ren and his mom over to celebrate winning a major contract. The small gathering included Ren, his mom, June, Zara, and the Kangs. They shared a lovely meal together, laughing and celebrating. Later in the evening, Zara video called her mother from her room. Just as she was about to end the call, Ren walked in. "Come with me," he said. "Where are we going? Am I getting a wedding proposal?" she teased, making Ren laugh. He led her outside, and they spent the evening playing games, singing karaoke, and enjoying dinner at a cozy restaurant. Just as they were about to leave, something magical happened. Snow began to fall gently from the sky. Zara's eyes lit up, and she rushed outside. "Is this snow?" she asked excitedly. Ren smiled. "Yes, it's the first snow of the year." Zara held out her hands, letting the snowflakes land on her palms. "This is the first time I've ever seen snow," she exclaimed joyfully. Ren watched her, smiling at her childlike wonder. They played in the snow, laughing and throwing snowballs at each other. It was a night Zara would never forget. The next day at school, the students were abuzz with excitement as they spotted a prom poster. Zara, feeling shy but determined, approached Ren. "Will you be my prom date?" she asked hesitantly. Ren hesitated. "I don't really like those kinds of parties," he admitted. Zara's heart sank, but before she could respond, he added, "But I'll go for you." Her face lit up with happiness. "Thank you," she said. Zara and Grace spent the next day shopping for the perfect prom dress. When the night of the prom arrived, Ren was stunned to see Zara. She looked breathtaking in her dress. "You look beautiful," he said. "And you look handsome," she replied, her cheeks flushing. They danced together, enjoying each other's company. But the night took a turn when the principal announced Ren and Yuna as prom king and queen. Zara's heart sank as she watched them dance. Unable to bear it, she ran outside, tears streaming down her face. Grace found her and wrapped her in a comforting hug. "Forget him, Zara. Let's go back inside and enjoy the party. Show him you don't care." Zara wiped her tears and nodded. Together, they returned to the dance floor, laughing and having fun. Ren noticed Zara enjoying herself with Grace and decided to give her space, unsure whether he should approach her or let her be. The following week, one of their classmates, Jun, announced his birthday party at a poolside venue and invited the entire class. "I hope you'll come," Grace said to Zara. "You deserve some fun." Zara hesitated, but eventually agreed. "Okay, I'll go." At the party, everyone was holding glasses of wine and mingling. When Yuna saw Zara, she walked up to her and poured her drink all over Zara's dress. "Oh, I'm so sorry. That was an accident," Yuna said mockingly, embarrassed and upset. Zara rushed out of the room. Grace quickly followed her to the bathroom to help clean her dress. Meanwhile, Ren saw what happened and stormed over to Yuna. "Yuna, if you ever pick on my girl again, I'll make sure you regret it," he said angrily. Yuna's jaw dropped in shock, but her face quickly twisted into anger. "That was an accident," she stammered. Ren shook his head. "I know it wasn't. You did it intentionally," he said firmly, glaring at her before walking away. After that day, Ren stopped speaking to Zara. He no longer visited her house or called her, and the silence between them grew heavier. Zara missed him deeply, longing for the good times they had shared. A few days later, Zara went to a mart to get some groceries. June hadn't returned home yet, so she went alone. As she left the store, rain began to pour heavily. She waited for a while, hoping it would stop, but eventually decided to walk home in the rain. As she walked, feeling the cold drops soaking her, she suddenly felt something cover her. A hand gently touched her shoulder. She looked up and saw Ren standing beside her, holding an umbrella over her. "How did you know I was here?" she asked, surprised. "I saw you at the mart buying groceries," he said in a soft voice. "I wanted to pay first, so I couldn't follow you immediately, but I thought you might need this." His face was warm and kind. "Let me take you home." Zara hesitated but eventually nodded. They walked home together in silence at first, the sound of the rain filling the quiet. Finally, Zara spoke. "Thank you for what you did at the pool party, and for this. You don't have to thank me," Ren replied. Zara hesitated before asking, "Then why did you ignore me all these days? Why didn't you come to our house anymore?" Ren sighed, his step slowing as he turned to her. "I didn't want to see you hurt," he admitted. "I also missed you. I missed us. But seeing you in pain because of Yuna, it made me feel helpless. You're so kind and strong, and it makes me want to do better." Zara smiled softly. "You don't have to be perfect, Ren. You just need to be honest." He didn't reply, but shifted the umbrella closer to shield her head from the rain. They walked the rest of the way home, the silence between them now filled with understanding. 2 years passed in Seoul, and Zara found happiness not just in school, but in the friendships and love she had discovered. Yet, as her time there drew to a close, the thought of leaving filled her with dread. One evening, Zara and Grace went to their favorite restaurant for dinner. Zara was unusually quiet, and Grace noticed. "Zara, you've been so quiet all day. What's on your mind?" Grace asked. Zara sighed. "I love it here. I don't want to leave. But my parents are expecting me to return home after I graduate high school. I hate the thought of leaving." Grace reached across the table, squeezing Zara's hand. "Talk to your parents about it. They'll understand if you explain how much this place means to you." Encouraged by Grace's words, Zara confided in Ren, who smiled brightly upon hearing her worries. "I'm so happy to hear that, Zara," Ren said. "I don't want you to leave either." Later that night, Zara called her parents in Nigeria. Over a video call, she told them how much she loved her life in Seoul, and how she wanted to stay to pursue her university studies. Though hesitant at first, her parents eventually agreed. Their approval filled Zara with newfound courage to embrace her life in Seoul fully. Zara settled into her new life as a university student, balancing classes, part-time work, and her friendships with Grace and Ren. Her love for Ren grew stronger, and he stayed true to his promises. One evening, Ren took Zara to the beach. As they watched the waves crash against the shore, he turned to her with a soft smile. "I'm so happy you stayed, Zara," he said. "You've changed my life." Zara's heart swelled with happiness, and she smiled back. "And you've changed mine. You gave me a reason to stay. I love you, Ren." They embraced under the fading light of the sunset, their hearts full of love and gratitude for the journey they had shared. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching, and stay blessed.